Tonight, we're happy to have with us Ms. Izamoria Granada, who is the president of our student government organization, and she is going to lead us in the pledge to our nation's flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Before we do the audience of any citizen, we want to pause and thank Mrs. Allen and the superintendent of schools, Mr. Ripplinger, and the school system here in Union County for their kind and gracious hospitality. And I've been in this building many times, so I knew to come in through the back to smell what was cooking in it. It's incredible. That's a common thread that runs through all of our school districts here. So we're very, very thankful to be here in one of the counties that is in our catchment area. It's a privilege to be here and to be among folks that we serve, a community that we serve. So without further ado, we will go to audience of any citizen. The Florida Gateway College Board of Trustees will hear any citizen who wishes to address our board on a one-time basis pertaining to a relevant topic. If we desire to hear more about that topic, we'll schedule it for a future board meeting. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and the time that we dedicate to this topic won't exceed 20 minutes. So, Mr. Loker, do you desire to speak to the board tonight? Yes. Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's nice to be here tonight. I almost missed the building and didn't make it, but in the nick of time, I found it. I have 4 things on my list: minutes, remediation, conflict, and new courses. I'm not the school mom, but I do believe in process. It's what keeps us all going in the same direction. So I've asked, I can't imagine how many months now, that the minutes be put separately on the Florida Gateway College website. I'm sure some of you recall it. And maybe soon we could actually find them all in one place so people can find them. Mr. Chairman, that would be a good idea. The second thing I have is remediation. I've mentioned before, Dan Webb sitting over there knows that I've mentioned it before. When Dr. Hall used to come to the IBA meetings, he would announce the amount of students that needed remediation as they went from the high school till, at that time, Lake City Community College. Around 92%. Ms. Norris remembers. It was a lot. Month after month after month, I asked what are the actual remediation numbers of kids coming from the high school to the college, and I still haven't gotten a real number, and I know you guys know. So I'm requesting that somebody speak about that at some time, because I think the public has a right to know, and it's the only way they can keep check on what's going on at the school district. The other thing, and I'm going to write a story on this, was conflict, and I didn't have a chance to get a hold of Ms. Logan. When Ms. Norris declared the conflict, I was told by Mr. Crawford that you can't ask about it, and I kind of flicked off that Ms. Norris didn't have to announce it. Well, the law is, and it says right on the form, that she does have to announce it. So my request to Ms. Logan and this board, if you know of a different law, let me know. But we need to have correct advice at public meetings from the school attorney. And I didn't do the story because I didn't get the chance to do it, and I didn't get a chance to speak to Ms. Logan. So she's got all my information. If there's something I don't know about, I would like to know it. And I would suggest in the future, I know I've asked for the records of other forms. Ms. Norris has only filled out one form from what I could gather. It's the only one I could get my hands on. So I know there's other instances with that, and you guys need to keep track of that and do the right thing. My final item is this, Mr. Chairman, is the new courses. Other colleges kind of like tell you how you got to where you are when you put in these new courses. I looked at them, was wondering how you even came to the decision.
Time.
Can I finish the sentence?
Yes.
Thank you. To even come to the decision of how this college makes to change the course structure of this school. And I think that needs to be discussed in the future and done in the open. Thank you very much for your time,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
The members of our board have had the minutes from October the 12th, 2023, for a substantial period of time. We've had the opportunity to review them and reflect on them. Are there any changes, corrections, or amendments of those minutes under item 4? Hearing none, I'll ask for the approval of the minutes as we receive them.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Mrs. Catherine.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dr. Cerency. Mrs. McGinnis moves to approve those minutes. Dr. Cerency seconds. All in favor of that. If there is no discussion, members of the board, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. And we're very happy to have with us tonight our student government representative, Mrs. Zamoria Granada. She's going to speak to us.
Good evening. Student government traveled to Tallahassee this week to attend the Florida College System Student Government Association meeting. We met with students from around the state and discussed college affordability and mental health. We also visited with legislators at the Capitol. We met with Mr. Lee Pinchuk at the Capitol, and he took us to a visit with Speaker Clemens, Representative Brannon, the state CFO, Mr. Petronas, and aides to Senator Bradley and Senator Simon. SGA-sponsored student activities this month include a billiards tournament, karaoke, tie-dye, and coffee and donuts days. We are also hosting 2 trivia days in November. The first trivia topic was superhero movie trivia, and the second is pop culture trivia. I want to test one of our pop culture questions on the board, if that's okay. It's actually an easy one. Who is Taylor Swift dating that has all her fans cheering for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Travis Kelce.
Yes, that is correct.
You know, Swiftie?
I'm married to
Lastly, SJ is hosting a canned food drive for Thanksgiving, and we are also fundraising to purchase turkeys for students who are food insecure if you're interested in donating. This concludes my report for today. Are there any questions?
No, I appreciate greatly your last offering by the student government, purchasing food for students who may have less. It's very touching. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, if we don't have any questions for Ms. Granada, we'll move on to item 6, the presentation of our consent agenda. The items on our consent agenda are routine business items, state directives, and compliance items. They've all been reviewed by our board attorney, and they've been available to us for our examination in advance, well in advance of this meeting. Any trustee can request a topic to be removed and considered separately from the consent agenda. Any typographical errors being noted and corrected in the board minutes. Is there any item that you received in your board packet under the consent agenda that any member of our board would like to see removed and considered separately? If there are none, given that we've had sufficient time to review our consent agenda items, if there is no discussion on them, I'll ask for a motion and second to approve them.
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Lander, second by Mr. Brannon, to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. The motion is carried. Thank you. And that brings us to our departmental presentations, which we always look forward to, and we'll begin with Roman numeral 7, Academic Affairs, Dr. Gavin. Thank you, Siri.
Good evening. First off, the Brain Bowl team, they had 2 different Brain Bowl meets this October, and we placed 6 out of 12 colleges in Ocala, in the Ocala meet, and then 4th place out of 18 colleges at the Santa Fe College meet. So we were really kind of happy that we were really sticking to, Santa Fe. The Second Chance Pell recipients, faculty and staff hosted a career day event at CCI on Tuesday, and as well as today. Students participated in resume writing workshops, application and interview preparation, and mock interviews. And this cohort of 37 students, they're actually going to graduate with either their Associate of Arts degree or their Associate in Science and Environmental Science in December. Late night at the library, we have all of our STEM faculty are trying to volunteer, they're volunteering their time to provide extra tutoring help during extended hours for final exam preparation. And then in nursing, we extended an invitation to the North Florida College's nursing program to use our simulation lab since their campus took severe damage during the hurricane. And our nursing faculty and simulation coordinator, Sarah White, assisted 5 NFC faculty and 21 students with their simulations. They have experienced challenges completing their clinical rotations that were canceled due to that hurricane, and completing simulations in our sim lab allowed them to complete their clinical learning objectives and time requirements that they would be able to graduate in their program on time. Also, speaking of nursing, the LPN and RN students expected to graduate in December have participated in required interview sessions. We had numerous stakeholders on site, including HCA, where 78 nursing students could choose either a mock interview or they could choose an actual interview with one of our stakeholders. 20 of those students chose the real interview, and about 10 students were offered positions on the spot, whereas several others got notification of interest as a pending employment opportunity. And also our NCLEX pass rates continue to soar. Our PN program, we have a first-time pass rate of 89.5%, which is better than Florida's 82.7%. We're not quite there with the U.S. statistic. They are at 91.3%. But our RN program is at 96.5% in their first-time pass rate, and that is much better than the Florida State's 82.33%, and the U.S.'s national average is 90%. So we are outperforming at that level. Now, UF is the only one that beat us. They had 98%, where all the other surrounding colleges are much less than us. So we're happy, we're proud of them. And then last but not least, we had our reconsideration with CAPTE hearing on October 24th, and we are expecting to know their decision on our accreditation within the next week. We're very hopeful because now we are actually back in compliance. We had 5 out of 5 pass that exam about a month ago. And so we had the hearing, we talked to them, they seemed very positive, and so we're expecting good results from that hearing. And I hope to report that in January. Any questions?
Great report. Wonderful. Is there any comments that anyone has?
I have a question on the second chance, because when I participated in that graduation ceremony, it was really quite touching. So the last administration put a lot of money into that program and had a lot of support in the business community to hire those folks when they come out of the incarceration. What, people passing and everything is wonderful, but do we have any follow-up mechanism? Do we know, are they getting jobs? Or there's still support out there from different businesses that are willing to hire people that are coming out of our prison system? Do you have any information on that? And if you don't, that's okay. You can get it back to me at a different time.
Yeah, I know anecdotally, Crystal Clark, she runs the program. She's our liaison to the prison classes, and she does follow them. Her dissertation was related to that, and so I know she's kept up with them, and it's a very high percentage of students are getting jobs, and they are remaining out of prison. I think out of 80-some graduates, maybe 2 are back in the system. So it's been highly successful, but I can get the data for you next time.
And the national average we're sitting at about 56%. So if you take a look at ours, 2 out of 84.
It said that was one of I've done a lot of graduations around here. They're all wonderful, and each one of them special, but that one was just overwhelming in terms of just the stories of people trying to, get on the right track. And that was the first question we had was are people really hiring them when they come out of these situations and they have a degree? So that's good to hear. Okay.
Yeah, I know our faculty are really heavy in trying to connect the industry with these students to get them hired. And it's been very successful, but I'll give the stats on it. Thank you.
And our scores just continue to amaze me. It's a great job by our faculty and the leadership. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. As a part of her report, I noted also that the college continues to reach outside of itself when our state experiences major crisis. I've had the opportunity for it was, on a need basis several times since the hurricane to ride through the affected areas. And, it didn't get as much press maybe as the previous hurricane that came through the Panhandle, but I saw great devastation. And so I'm very thankful. We do have assets and resources, and I do think it's incumbent on us to reach out during those times. And you all just never failed to do that. Thank you so much. We appreciate your leadership. Okay, Roman numeral 8, Student Affairs, Public Information, Mr. Cardenas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm pleased to present an update from the Student Affairs Division, highlighting key achievements and initiatives that demonstrate our commitment to student success and engagement. Before I get started, I'd also like to recognize our Student Government Association. They have been absolutely wonderful this year. She did not mention, and her list was long, but she did not get to mention that they're going to be doing an incredible toy drive in December to help support our community. Their work they've been tirelessly working to support not only the campus community, but even outside of our community. So it's really well done. Amy, great job supporting them and being their sponsor. I'd like to start in athletics. Our FGC women's and men's cross-country teams are headed to the NJCAA National Championships in Huntsville, Alabama. The women's team has achieved a remarkable number 12 ranking in the nation, making our highest ranking ever entering the national finals. Tonight, we eagerly anticipate the men's basketball home opener against Enterprise Community College from Enterprise, Alabama. The men's basketball team is on an impressive streak with a recent win against Trinity College, securing a 104-93 victory on Tuesday. We invite you and our community to join us tonight at 7 p.m. in the Howard Center. In the advising area, we have successfully completed the interview process for our new transfer and career advisor position. An offer is imminent, and we anticipate our new teammate to commence their role in January, coinciding with the start of the spring semester. The advising office has been bustling with activity, with over 735 students seeking guidance since the beginning of spring registration on October 30th. Our Dixie County GED program is delighted to announce that as of November 2nd, our Dixie location has become a Pearson-approved testing site for the GED program. All GED tests will now be administered electronically streamlining the testing process. Our GED program accommodates a diverse age range with our youngest student at 16 and our oldest student in their 70s. We look forward to hosting a small ceremony in December to celebrate the achievements of our 3 newest GED graduates, as well as past graduates from the program. Our Public Information Office, recent releases that you do have in your folders from our Public Information Officer include updates on the 23-24 basketball roster and schedule, FAFSA simplification for 24-25 article, a cybersecurity AS program that was picked up by Channel 20 and by the Lake City Reporter, 2025 Aspen, and our cross-country nationals releases. In community engagement, the Life South Community Blood Centers conducted a successful campus blood drive on November 6th, collecting 7 donations and potentially saving up to 21 lives. These accomplishments underscore our dedication to fostering a vibrant and supportive campus environment. We appreciate the continued support of the Board of Trustees in our pursuit of excellence in student affairs and public information. Are there any questions?
Any question? Thank you for your report. Okay, Roman numeral 9 is enrollment and marketing. Mrs. Schrader.
Good evening. Spring registration began on October 30th, so we're about 2 weeks in, and we're currently up 8% in headcount, with 1,304 students compared to 1,207 students last spring. We're also up 8% in credit hours at 11,482 credit hours compared to 10,592 credit hours for last spring. And then the final fall enrollment report, we are up 1.7% in headcount and 5% in credit hours. In financial aid, we have awarded our fall open door grant allotment in its entirety for eligible CTE programs, and we're now taking applications for spring open door grants, and we're working with the same amount as fall, which is $123,000. Our spring dual enrollment articulation meeting is scheduled for next week. We'll be hosting guidance counselors and administrators from each high school, and that will take place on Thursday, November 16th. We have one-stop enrollment day scheduled for November 30th, and we're inviting students at every point in the admission process to come, meet with an advisor, complete their enrollment, and submit their FAFSA, everything they need to do to get started for spring. And then fall commencement ceremony is coming up. That's scheduled for December 14th at 6:30. We have 145 students signed up to walk in fall commencement, which is one of our largest yet for the fall. Finally, FGC will be participating in the Lake City Christmas Parade on December 9th. The theme for the parade is "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and our float will be setting the scene of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" in Wolfville, complete with both of our mascots and as many lights as we can possibly fit.
Great. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Great numbers on percents of increase in enrollment. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, our much awaited Roman numeral 10 business services report. Mrs. Holloway.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have 2 budget amendments I'd like to request approval on. Budget amendment number 4 for the restricted current fund for the fiscal year 23-24. The college requests approval of budget amendment number 4 to the restricted fund for the fiscal year 23-24. This amendment recognizes revised award authorizations and new grants received in the 23-24 fiscal year.
You hear our director's request. Is there any discussion on her request for the approval of this amendment as listed in your packet? If not, we'll entertain a motion and second to approve her request.
Move to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve her.
Go ahead.
Then I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Norris. Ms. McGinnis moves to approve the request as stated by our director. Mrs. Norris seconds the motion. All in favor of that? If there's any discussion by anybody? All in favor of that, members of the board, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion's carry.
Thank you. My next is the budget amendment number 4, capital outlay plan for the unexpended plant fund 7 budget for fiscal year 23-24. We are requesting approval of Fund 7 Budget Amendment 4, which has been revised so the report reflects actual revenue, revised budgeted expenditures, actual expenses, and updated projects through October 18, 2023.
You hear our director's request, and she requested as it is stated in your packet. Is there any question on that request? If not, we entertain a motion and a second to approve. Thank you.
Second.
We have a moving. Thank you. We have a moving second. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion in the second as presented by our director and in your packet, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The same sign. And the motion is carried.
Thank you very much. Any questions for me?
Thank you so much. We now go to our president's report. Yes, Dr. Barrett.
Thank you. Give me 1 second. Superintendent Ripplinger, thank you so much for having us today. Chair Crawford, I mentioned you were out cooking the food. So as usual, we ask if the superintendent has anything to say, or it's your opportunity. We get to see you once a year. We get to see you more than that, but here at Union County, we get to see you once a year. Would you like to say anything?
Yes. Just want to welcome everybody here tonight. Thank you all for coming to Union County, and we're happy to host this each and every day or each and every year. Also, just continue to thank our partnership with Florida Gateway College. I have seen the great and wonderful things that the college can do for students personally. My daughter, who graduated in 2020, went on to FGC, completed her AA, and is now over at the University of Florida pursuing a pathway in order to be a high school science teacher. My son took advantage of dual enrollment when he was in high school. He graduated this past spring, and he was in the golf course management program. And he completed a good portion, about a third of it. He's continuing the program now. In fact, he is a part of the FCA program over there, which seems to kind of gotten kicked off pretty well. And so just lots of opportunities. We always stress to our students, take advantage of the opportunities that are there, both in the traditional dual enrollment, but also on the vocational side. I'm trying to get more students involved on the vocational side because when you look at all the certificates and things in which they can earn, they can immediately propel them into the workforce at a much quicker rate than a 4-year degree can, probably making a lot more than many people can with a 4-year degree path. So that's something that we're continuing to work through. I know we always have folks at the articulation agreement or articulation meeting. I attended many of those when I was principal at Union County High School. But again, we just appreciate the partnership that we have with Florida Gateway College and looking forward to continuing that and expanding that in years to come. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
President Barrett, before, if I could real quickly, I want to reiterate on behalf of the board, Mr. Ripplinger, who I've known for several years, and he provides wonderful leadership here in Union County. And I've had the privilege of coming to Union County for many years now to be a part of the team that selects their Teacher of the Year. And it is absolutely one of my favorite days in the year. And I was sitting here trying to think, we say it's great in Gilchrist, better in Baker, and I couldn't think of a U word for Union, but it is really
Utopia.
It's utopia. There we go. It's utopia. It really is. If you could, they're just doing great things in educating the children, the young folks, young adults of Union County. I love to come here and see quality education. Thank you for having us.
All right, before I go over some of my items, I'd like to introduce for the board, as we want to keep you informed, and as the process, we're getting very close to going out to bid for our STEM 2 building for the Alan Grace Harder Simulation and Innovation Building. And with us is Danny Kale, who's the architect of that project. Danny has done many projects. He was a key architect he wasn't the architect, but he was a key architect with a lot of the issues for our STEM 1 building. And he's been a very good colleague and partner of this college. So I just wanted, because of, we have some diagrams in front of you, we weren't sure if we could get the technical ready. So Danny, it's all yours. I asked him to present for about 5 minutes for you this evening.
So,
and also I want to introduce Randall Thomas, who's our Director of Facilities, who has a lot to do with what goes on, and he's had a lot to do with this project too.
well, a little bit old-fashioned with the slide, the handout, so bear with me here. So it's the center of the first page. You can see the original STEM building when it started construction right there. It's this sort of dirt part in the middle of the page. On the next page, you can see north of the parking lot, is to the west of the Performing Arts Center. That's the outline of the new building. It's a 2-story building. It's approximately 20,000 square feet, and it houses the anatomy, physiology program, and the nursing program. Let's see, if you don't mind, flip over 2 more pages, and we can see it's really the first floor plan. I can kind of walk you through. I know it's a little hard to see at a smaller scale, but we're really far ahead in developing our documents. And so when you enter this building, if you look to the right, that's where you have the anatomy and physiology classrooms. You have all their equipment storage. You have their cadaver storage is an interesting thing. They have a dissection lab. On the left side of the building, that's set up for the nursing program where students can come in, take their simulation tests. They have control rooms to watch them go. And then when they all get finished up, they can move to the center of the room where they have debriefing rooms and then go over how they did on their program. And the remainder of the building is set up just some boring architectural things, stairwells, elevators, restrooms. It's all set up very efficiently, and it ties in great with all the connections that are needed on site too. So we're making good progress in all those items. And then the next page is the second floor. We've tried to keep things very stacked, very efficient. And on the second floor, to your right, you can get a large general classroom. There's a large general classroom in the center of the building. And on the left side of the building, that's where the AP staff and the nursing staff have their offices. It's regular, nice office suite. And it's like Dr. Barrett said, it's coming along well. Dr. Barrett, Randy, and the nursing staff, AP staff, they've all been very, very helpful. Great to work with. And our overall schedule is to try to finish up our construction documents in March, and then permitting and bidding, and then start construction probably late spring, early summer, and then finish up and be ready for the fall in 2025. And so everything's looking good. So far we got a ways to go, but it's been great, and they really are very helpful. They're good hands.
So reiterate, the nursing faculty have been involved with this, the anatomy and physiology, the doctors have been really integral in programming this building with Randy.
Yeah.
A little bit of input from me, right?
Oh, that's right. No, it's a flexible scenario. We've expanded and contracted, we've tried to be efficient, and we landed.
And Danny's really good to work with. Very excited. Questions?
I know it's a very short blush here this evening, but you'll have the document. Nothing's literally set in stone yet, so go back and study, reflect, and I'm sure President and anybody associated with this will be glad to receive any input that the board may have.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you all coming out.
And out of the 20,000 square feet, I think it's 15.5 that's usable space, and the rest is that about right?
Yes, it is set up in a very efficient manner. Not many corridors, all the utilities are compact, so we're getting the use of the square footage correct.
Very good. Let's go over some things. As Ms. Norris had mentioned, Trustee Norris mentioned, the corrections program. Many of us in this room met with the Department of Corrections. Remember was that last week? Time goes by. 8 of us went down this week. This week we went Monday. And we met with about 7 corrections people, and the 8 of us met to try to work out some details as we move forward on this. So we've been putting in a lot of effort. So on December 12th at 10 a.m., at the Columbia Corrections Facility, we will be having another graduation. If you would like to attend, any of you would like to attend, you have to be there at 10 a.m. The ceremony will start at 11. We'll be out of there, as Suzanne knows, about 12:15. And we have, how many, 60? Or a little bit more graduation? Forget it, 60 or 60? 60, that was right, okay. 60 graduates, and many of them will be going on for their bachelor's in wastewater and environmental science. So we'll be having a group of 18 that will be starting in January with that. So, and I do know of at least 4 individuals that are graduated the Second Chance Pell program that are working in Lake City and for the city of Lake City. So, and that recidivism rate, I think ours is right now below 5% compared to 56, so that's pretty good. So it makes a difference for those. So if any of you want to go to that, I'm glad that Suzanne is on. If anybody else wants to go, please let me know. And our regular graduation, as Casey mentioned, is December 14th at 5:30. It's going to at 6:30. Okay, but you all have to be there at 5:30. I wrote my bullet points there. But it starts at 6:30. 145 students is a lot of students. So we're limiting the tickets to 5 or 6 to per student graduate. It's going to be a busy night. On that night, we will also be having an Alumni of the Year presentation to Kevin Downey. It's his 50th year since he attended Lake City Community College in the Golf Operations Program. He has, for the past 50 years, served on our advisory council through the old golf program all the way up to ours, and a very good, important donor and liaison. He is very proud of his association. He's from Palm Beach. He'll be coming up for, I told him he's an Irishman, he has to stick to under 5 minutes. That's my biggest thing, to keep our record going. I'm disappointed to tell you, but our charter school consultant had a personal issue that she couldn't be with us tonight. She is scheduled for January. We received some documents this morning about the charter school. We'll be forwarding that on to you for your review electronically. And we have a lot of work to do still on that, but we're making progress. And I want to thank Representative Brandon and Trustee Brandon for listening to Lee and I all the time, pushing that, and Senator Bradley, and I think it's going to be a really important thing for us. I will be out of the office in the first week of December. I'll be attending the SACS trustee meeting in Orlando, where I'll be reviewing about 44 colleges' accreditation standard that as part of trustee I have to do. It's a lot of extra work. I always look forward to that. Great news, Aspen. Many of you received the Aspen Award for the second consecutive time. We received recognition as the top 150 out of 1,100 community colleges in the United States. It was the first time in many years, the last time. Our outcomes look even better than last time. We've learned how we have to continue with this process since the first time around, and we're working diligently to provide the data, including salaries and so forth of our graduates by November 14th, I think it is due. Very short turnaround, 14 days. And then our narrative is due December 15th. So we anticipate sometime in the spring. The goal is to be in the top 10. So we'll see if we get there, but I'm so proud of the staff and faculty. And if you look at our outcomes, I don't compare us to other schools, but we're kicking some butt. So, I'm just so proud of the staff. The GED graduation in Dixie, we will be having, I think we now have 8 graduates in that program, and the state asked us to do that. It's a very important process, a very important program to run for rural Florida and our students. And we use a lot of support from Baker County people to help us run that. So I just wanted to let you know that. PAC renovation, I'll talk to you a little bit down the road. Talking about food drives, we received, I think, 3 boxes of food from the dorms today. Huge boxes from the dorms that don't have a lot. Those kids don't have a lot, just giving to other people. And the senior staff will be going to the food bank, Lake City Food Bank on Tuesday, and Ms. Logan's going to join us. from 9 to 11 to pack for 650 families that will be receiving Thanksgiving dinners on Thursday morning. So I'm pretty happy about that. So we're very active about that, and so we're very proud of our students. And we're giving out free breakfasts to the buildings to bring in the most food. So who won last time? Library and enrollment service. All right, I really won, but I didn't tell you. Healthcare onboarding. Thanks to Ms. Buckles and her staff and everything, we've been onboarding people for the new health insurance, which still is Florida Blue, and that's gone very, very well. And we'll be doing some onboarding with our new dental plan, which is a much more impressive health dental plan, and for eyeglass over the next couple of days. So it's gone very smoothly, so I just want to thank you all. Thank you for your support with that, because we're not well liked by some about that, but we got to do what we got to do for our faculty and staff. And one last thing, many of you that have been on this board have remembered the entertainment series. Over the last few months, the last 2 months, we've closed down the PAC for what I would call major renovations, but about $150,000. And a place I showed Dr. Tepedino on our way here today. He looks different, doesn't he?
It looks amazing.
So, so we're going to reinstitute the FGC Entertainment Series, but we're going to rebrand it, and we're going to have that along with our theater department and our cultural, and try to make it a little diverse. And with that, we have a couple of events to announce. We have a Let It Be concert in the theater, which will be March 9th. It'll be a Beatles cover band that we'll be having, and we're hoping to have a little beer garden ahead of that one. Sean of the South, which is a very popular narrator and banjo player. He'll be here April 6th, and I think they've sold over 300 tickets for that already. And we'll also be having our play in the theater department, and then we also are going to have a new production called the Mascot Singer Dancer, which will be an internal process that Dr. Barrett will be producing with some other staff members for 12 school districts to have them perform to receive a big award to try to bring students and stuff to our campus, and that will be on February 23rd. So that's my report, Mr. Chair.
Are you performing in that?
They want me
Let see.
to, don't they? Yeah, so we might
Think
just,
that
I don't know, it's gonna be
kicked
hard
out.
to do in that Timberwolf outfit. I'm a little too old for that.
It's like a masked dancer thing.
Yeah, which will be, yeah, if you ever watch the show To Take Off of the Masked Singer, we'll ask all the mascots from our service counties, the seven schools plus Belmont, plus we're gonna reach out to Swanee and Brantford, and ask them to do that. And we already have the thing, they'll be asked to pre-record a song in our studio, and there'll be a dance routine with the mascot, and it'll be a $1,500 award to the school that wins, and $1,000 for second, and third with $500. So we think we'll sell that out pretty quickly. So it's kind of a crazy idea I had, and I thought they all were going to be against me, but they went for it. So
That is great. Thank you so much. I want to harken back very quickly. Yes, ma'am.
When did you say the GED graduation?
we're looking for either the from December 4th through the 8th or the following week. We have not been able to find a location, and we're working with Sandy Tomlinson on the location in Dixie. Thought maybe the library, maybe the center, but we want to try to maybe move it to that hotel area to make it a little special. So we haven't set up dates.
Great. No, thank you. I want to harken back to Mrs. Norris's comments about the corrections graduation. I've been to my share of high school graduations in somebody else's. I'm telling you, I've been to a lot of them. And I concur with her, and I'd encourage the board, if you have any opportunity at all. That was one of the, I can't say it was the most moving because I was high school principal 9 years, so I have to protect that. But it was absolutely one of the most moving experiences as an educator I've ever had. And if there's any way you can, I know it means a lot to those men who worked hard to get there. So y'all go if you can. Is there anything else by anybody here? Yes.
I just want to say, this recently on October 30th, we put together a Science Research Mentor Day. Since COVID, some of our numbers have dropped with participation with the Regional Science Fair. They're trying to get students who have not completed a project they completed at our Regional Fair Board to gain some interest. And so we started small this year. We had 7 adults that had experience with mentoring students in science that volunteered to come in and work with area students. And so we had a great day. We really enjoyed it. The students enjoyed it. The mentors have been texting me back and forth since then, and they had a wonderful day with students. And so they're going to be trying to prod these students along and keep them interested. And we'll see how many additional students it drives toward our registration in February for our regional fair. But I just want to thank the college and Dr. Barrett's office and Amy and those that helped. And it was a great day, and I just hope that it is something that can continue to grow and that we can offer it again next year. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Trustee Allen, for your effort and hard labor and that effort in the science fair as always. Glad that's on the move again. Anything else needs claiming attention of the board? If not, we will move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
You don't need a vote. Thank you.